Hetapu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer. This is Qesankh Keparu with another video for you. In this video, we're going to talk about expectation is the matrix key, or the key to the matrix. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. Please don't forget that. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload videos. If you'd like to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can scroll down below and click on any one of the 4 links to ebooks. You can download them today. They're free and start reading. However, if you want to find out how deep the rabbit hole goes, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5 or $20 per month, and you will get exclusive access to instructional videos on the esoteric, videos that teach you how to contact the ancestors, how to do astral projection, how to put together a magical amulet, how to time travel, how to do proper breathing exercises, how to do self-hypnosis. And if you are an Asera level supporter, you'll get all your oracle readings for free. And that is happening this week. We're going to do a live broadcast, so bring your questions for the oracle. Now, lastly, share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. Haroon Nefer, how are you doing? So I'm just casually dressed down today, relaxing after coming back from Colombia. Can I say actually from Panama? Oh, whatever. So I have a lot of video that I took, and I'm going to edit them all together, and I'm going to post those for you guys, because I did a lot of sightseeing. It was great. It was awesome. So it was interesting because it was the oracle, the great oracle of Tahuti, that told me I should go to Colombia. Now I was thinking Brazil, Dominican Republic, Cuba, but the readings favored Colombia. I was like, okay. And I knew a girl years ago who I had a big crush on. I think I told you guys a story. I took her out and I was going to ask her, I said, listen, do you like coffee? She goes, Ron, I'm Colombian. We love coffee. So I ordered her some coffee. So, you know, just my experience in interacting with her, I always wanted to go. So I took my wives and 12 kids there. And as I was on my way there, the first time we had about 3 or was it 4 flights just to get there. And oh, that was so exhausting. And then going through customs or security checks, it was really crazy, you know. And because I'm so pretty, the security ladies like to pat me down several times, you know, whatever. But we stayed at a nice, quaint place that a friend recommended, and we met up with him actually in Colombia. So I was in my room I had a room by myself, and my sexy Latina mates and kids. I had a different room. I'm lying in bed, and it was similar to what occurred to me at home, where I'm lying in bed. And sorry, you know, this computer is a little slow. I just actually ordered I actually just got a new Mac as soon as I came back from Colombia. It was waiting for me, UPS guy. So I'm gonna start using this Mac here, which came in, and this one I'm on now, I'm going to probably retire. I've been using that one so long. But actually the UPS guy, when we got back, had left a notice saying he stopped by, but he would come by later to drop off the Mac. And that was really nice of him to do that. Because I don't want to leave those things just, you know, for anyone to pick up. So anyway, and this has occurred to me several times, what I'm about to tell you. As I was sleeping, the first time I felt someone touch me, and I jumped because it was so startling. out of bed. I was lying in bed, the covers over me. So I jumped up and they touched my forehead. I could feel it. And I was like, okay. And I lie back in bed. And as I was falling asleep, I felt someone caressing my legs and my arms. And I was like, oh, okay. That's my spirit guide. So I knew what was going on. And there was no doubt about it. Somebody was touching me. So because that occurred, like I said, when I was home, so I was used to the feeling. So I felt compelled to play this old song from the 90s, I Touch Myself by the Divinyls. Because when it first happens, you're going to jump and get nervous and freak out. But after you've dealt with it for a while, especially when you're working with the ancestors, having your spirit guide or something like that touch you or caress you, it could be your mother who's passed away, it could be, an ancestor, is a really reassuring feeling. Because prior to coming, I have a nervous friend from Canada who was like, you're going to get drugged. Bad things happen in Colombia. There's drugs, there's cartels. And I'm like, yeah, be quiet. Now, the reason I know that like I said before, the ancestors wanted me to go to Colombia was because the first time I thought about it was based on the girl. The second time came up when my friend, he's Korean, was talking about, he goes, hey, you should go to Colombia. And he just came out nowhere and saying that. I'm like, why would you just say it like that? And he says, I don't know, maybe I'm was told to tell you that. Then the next time I'm at a club, I get a ginger ale, I go sit down next to this guy, and he just starts talking to me. And he says he just got back from Colombia and I should go. And I'm like, what is the deal? So he was telling me about people he met, the women there, and how great it was. I said, well, I'm planning to go eventually. So based on my readings, like I did readings on China, on Philippines. I do love the Philippines, by the way. Not crazy about Thailand because they have the lady mans, the transgender guys. And I don't want to have problems telling them apart because I'm so pretty. I don't want them chasing me, So I said, I did the reading and 35th hexagram, get your butt to Colombia. So we went to Colombia. And that's when all these weird synchronicity things started happening. I mean, it was so weird, Sometimes I use the initial RKA. I use it a lot. I use it for my production company. When I was filling out the customs forms, you know how you have that thing that says, I'm not a robot, and you have to type that weird letters in? The weird letters for Colombia came up RKA, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't believe that's coming up. Those are my initials. So a lot of really nice synchronicity things started happening. For some strange reason, we missed the flight to Colombia. And I felt there was some shady stuff going on because I had paid for the seats. Yet she tells me because I didn't check in prior, that the boarding was closed. So I said, the plane is right there. We're half hour early. How are you telling me the boarding is closed? And I said, if I pay for seats, how am I not getting a seat? And there was a white young lady who she let on the plane. And I said, well, how did you just let her on the plane? Oh, because she was accepted. Well, accept me. And right then and there, I blew up at her. I mean, I was like going crazy, making a big scene. So I stopped and I said, let me back off. And I did my reading with the I-ching. I have the I-ching app. And it said, just chill. Just chill. And in my mind, I was like, my spirit guides, they got this. They got this. So let me just chill. I walked back up to the lady, and then she asked me if I had any baggage. I said, no, we're carrying everything. because I wanted to travel light this time because I always overpack. She walked away from me, pulled out her cell phone, and tried to have like this really private conversation behind the curtain. Came back and she said they were waiting for somebody. Anyway, long story short, the plane ended up being an hour delayed, or an hour waiting for that person to come. When the person didn't come, she looked at me and she says, "Okay, you guys can get on." I said, "Wait a minute, first you tell me it's just one person. Now there are multiple seats that are available that we can get on," which was the weirdest, screwiest thing. But anyway, at least we got on. I wasn't complaining after that point. So, we had connecting flights and things of that nature. And the next time, so that plane got in so late that I knew we were going to miss our connecting flight. So the thing that I said to myself was, oh, and I was really disgusted by my behavior because I really blew up. So Hetep Black. So I consulted the Oracle, and the Oracle was pretty lenient toward me. It said, listen, you can't change behavior overnight. Just keep working on it. Keep working on your Meneb. I was like, okay. And I actually apologized to the two ladies because I blew up. And even though there was some shadiness on their part, there was no reason for me to start yelling at them. But when you've already taken 2 flights and you're tired, and then they tell you, so we had 2 flights, and then the last one was actually going to Colombia, and that was an 8-hour flight. And we're tired. And then she was telling me I would have to go into the hotel because the next flight wouldn't go out to the next day at night, but that one was packed. I'm like, do you know how much it's going to cost me to rent a hotel? And then you tell me that the next flight is all booked anyway? I'm like, this is ridiculousness. I paid for a ticket on this flight. How is it taking off when I have tickets? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I digress. Got to Colombia, everything was good. It was a wonderful, wonderful trip, except when I tried to climb the old city wall. Dumb me. Climbed it, fell down, messed up my leg, bleeding everywhere, and we couldn't go to the beach. And that was sad. I really wanted to go to the beach. I didn't feel confident that me going to the beach in that water would be safe because I don't want to lose my leg out of some octopus or shark attacking me, So you're going to see a video that I took of me meeting people in Colombia and the wonderful things that occurred. And one of the things I pointed out was just how COVID and the recession has decimated them, Venezuela especially. So it's pretty bad. Always be thankful of what you have, and thankful that you're in this country at least, because things could be a lot worse. But I want to talk about something, and we need to keep this in mind. Oh, by the way, I was on the Roger Report this morning. I don't know if you guys watch it. It's on every morning. And I said something, and oh my God, Roger went off on me. He apologized, but oh my God, I triggered everybody. So if you get an opportunity, watch today's Roger Report. I typically go on there, the panel, to talk about very, very important issues. It's more of a panel for men. So check it out if you can. A lot of fireworks today. It was really, really interesting. But again, I digress. You have to keep in mind, and I got into a debate with a so-called intellectual, pseudo-intellectual, about how that this is not a holographic matrix. And I said, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I said, listen, I don't have time to go down everything and to show you and prove it. But you're living in a matrix that is born of your 2 things. Number 1, your destiny, and your most strongest beliefs and desires. Also, it's 3 things, and the mass consensus agreement. Let me break this down so it's very simple, because I don't want to get too complex on it. Your expectation as to what should happen in your life forms the basis of the reality that you interact with. Your expectation as what you expect to happen forms the basis of the reality that you'll be interacting with. The matrix is consistently being penned by your belief system. If you expect a flight to be there waiting for you, it'll be there waiting for you. If you expect a police officer to treat you poorly, he will. Because it's a construct. It is a reality that is based upon you creating it as God man, God woman. It is not an objective reality that exists apart from you, the observer. It is a subjective reality that abides by certain rules and conditions vis-a-vis your strongest beliefs. Do you understand that? Atepo Everett. Oh, by the way, if you want to be part of the Six-Figure PM program, the class is starting tomorrow. Please let me know. If you expect there to be poor treatment when you go to a foreign country, there will be poor treatment. My mate is saying, it wasn't my mate, I'm sorry. It was a friend of mine who said, if you're going there, you may have problems with the language barrier. I said, well, if I accept that as a belief system, I will have problems with the language barrier. But I reject that. There will be no problems. And I have a mentor who's a magician. And my friend was very concerned about me from Canada, saying, well, be careful where you go. Don't go to the dark places or streets that are vacant and this and that. So my mentor did the reading with his oracle, and his advice when I was going was to go to the places that are not frequented by tourists. Go to the places that most people don't go, and you'll find what you need. And that's exactly what I did. But my other friend is saying, if you do that, you're going to get robbed, get drugged, get accosted. I said, no, because you see, one, I know my spirit guides will always protect me. And two, I don't accept that as a belief system in my reality. And three, it's confirmed by the oracle. Do you understand? So we were free to go anywhere and do anything. And we had a wonderful time. And the things that occurred and the people that we met happened because I had the expectation of that happening. I have another friend who is a very successful influencer on YouTube. He came to Vegas around the same time I did. He traveled abroad to study with a shaman and take the medicine ayahuasca, and came back and was gifted a fabulous house. People were asking him, well, how did you get that house? He said, I had the expectation of moving to a better house. But he calls it like the law of attraction. And it happened. He got gifted the house. You see, we're not readily accepting who we are. We have accepted the de facto mindset that we're living in an objective reality and everything happens apart from us and our wishes. And if you believe that, that's what the way it will be. However, if you understand that you're God and you understand that these things that you see around you are creations or concoctions of your belief system, are manifested by you, God man and God woman, then it becomes a whole different ball game. The matrix responds to you. This is a training ground for your soul, for you to learn. It is a training ground for you to learn how to use your power. As this is what God is doing. God has placed his consciousness, his or her consciousness within you to experience this fourth dimensional plane. God would be an unfair God to place you in a situation where the elements could destroy you, where other people could destroy you. So God has said, you remember who you are, and no enemy shall come against you. So I want you to always, on a day-to-day basis, and Vadim Zeeland talks about this in his book, Reality Transurfing, Reality Transurfing, is that on a day-to-day basis, you have to practice expectation. It's a muscle. When you first do it, I have people come in that taught in classes and do it for a week and then give up frustrated. And I have to sit down and said, when you went to the gym for a week, did you come out like Arnold Schwarzenegger? No, you didn't. The high priest, the king that trained me, always kept saying, you have to practice. So you have to get into the concept and idea that if you expect it, it will manifest. Let's go to science. Schrodinger's cat. How many people are familiar with Schrodinger's cat? If you're not, let me explain. He did an experiment where, let's say theoretical, where he put a cat in a box, and then he put the explosive device in the box, and then he closed the box, the explosive device went off, and he said, is the cat or alive or dead? And what he surmised is the cat is neither alive or dead. It's in a state of superimposition, meaning, depending on your belief system, when you open that box, it will conform to your belief system. If your belief system is that the cat is alive and you open the box, the cat will be alive. If your belief system is the cat will be dead and you open the box, the cat will be dead. Do you understand now? When we look at racism and oppression and sexism, we went through many phases. We went through the phase of chattel slavery, which was the physical imprisonment of the body, Geb. And now we're in an altogether different stage or phase, which is the programming of the collective consciousness through pendulums and ergobores. So the racism and oppression that exists in the ether, not in a physical sense. You're not fighting physical racism. You're not fighting physical sexism or oppression. You are fighting a pendulum, an ergobore, a virus that is consistently downloaded by individuals. You want to end racism and oppression? Change your mindset. This is what we call the mass consensus agreement. The Bible says that two or more agree, so shall it be. We know that the matrix is more powerful when there's an alignment and agreement between the masses. This is called the Maharishi effect. The reality that we experience of racism and oppression exists because the ruling elite have come together to get us into a belief system that we cannot break out of. And as I looked and studied racism in depth, I realized that the only thing that was keeping us from progressing at this point in time in this modern age was us. I actually found that we were thwarting our own progress. And I said to myself, well, why would we do that? Why would we vote for a president who's mentally incapable of leading the free world? A mental conditioning, a pendulum. Why would we support a movement, Black Lives Matter, when they have made it clear that they are not for the family unit, the nuclear family? But we supported them. We threw millions and millions of dollars at them. You see, you're not who you think you are. You are a program. And when a new program gets downloaded into you, it becomes part of your core being, core programming for which you operate. It is your operating system. Right now, you have a bad operating system that gets you to act in ways that prevents you from the realization of your God state and imprison you in a thing called racism. And then some say, well, Qesankh, I accepted the belief that this racism thing was just a type of program or ideology, and I tried to embrace a new idea, and the police still pulled me over and gave me a ticket and discriminated against me. Yes, because you are part of a mass consensus agreement. It takes more than just you to eradicate this pendulum. You need the collective agreement. See, there's the collective consciousness of all of us. We all share the same consciousness. Therefore, what happens to one happens to all. That's Ma'at's idiom, interdependence and interrelationship. You're not going to escape it. You're part of the whole. So you must work with your people to embrace a new programming. This is why I say you're not going to get out of this condition through legislation, through political activism, through individual efforts, through taking advantage of the capitalist system. It's not going to work because you have a pendulum that is going to sabotage your plan. You have to look at this reality in a different way. First and foremost, I'm God man, God woman. And I affect my reality by 6%. That's the percentage. And in order for me to make a massive change on a collective level, I need to work with those of us who are in this similar situation and recondition their mindset. 6% is minor. But when collectively you pull that together, then you're changing the odds to 60%, 70%. The problem is that they know this, the ruling elites. So they make sure the advantage is on their side. You can't get rich or die trying. You can't alpha your way out of this system. It is not going to work. And I want you to understand that when you're seeing people who have made it, who are filthy rich, or Elon Musk, those are coming from your own subconsciousness, projected outward to communicate a message to you. And in order to find out what does Elon Musk mean to me, you need to go to the Oracle, because Elon Musk doesn't really exist. That's just someone you created to communicate to you. If Kanye West is a billionaire, and he just recently became a billionaire, that is because you manifested him as a billionaire. Now the question is, what does that mean to you? What is the message you're trying to communicate to yourself? Do you understand? Because the things that you created are all symbolism, symbols that are trying to communicate to you something important, but you're ignoring it, thinking that it's an outside reality that exists apart from you. No, Bill Gates is a manifestation of my consciousness. Do you understand? They're trying to communicate something to you, whether it be you're too materialistic or that you need to work harder to get there. It's trying to tell you something. What does Jeff Bezos, being one of the world's richest men, what is he trying to tell me? Why did I manifest Jeff Bezos? Is the question. What do I have to believe is true for that to be a manifestation? My mate is acting out of pocket. On the plane, I had to slap her silly. We weren't talking, hypothetically, just hypothetically. Why did I have to manifest that scenario? What is going on in my psyche that needed that to happen to communicate something to me? Your mate is acting out of pocket because something's going on within your psyche that you're manifesting that scenario. There's a saying in the spiritual community: everything is of mind. And you have to start looking at that. Now, don't start analyzing everything, because some things just happen. There's nothing you can do about it. You give a child an ice cream cone, the child drops it. There's no deeper implication to that. The child just dropped the ice cream cone. If you go through your life and you say, I don't believe in spirit guides, ancestors, then they don't exist, because that's the reality that you choose to have. And the matrix will ping off that and provide you what you want, a reality where those things don't exist. But if you accept the fact that they do exist, then they will come into your life to assist you in your journey. I don't care what you look like. If you believe that you are the most attractive person on the planet, you're going to get men falling over you. You're going to get crazy proposals. If you have the expectation that men find you attractive, ladies, that's the reality that is going to manifest, given time and space. If you got a big mole on your nose, and I actually saw this from my mentor, right? My mentor did an experiment with me, and I am not lying. 30 days, he did not shower or change clothing. Let me say it again. For 30 days, he did not shower or change clothing. He grew this really weird beard. He looked like a mountain man. He was a white guy from Canada. He went out to the clubs and he smelled. And I was there, San Diego. He was picking up girls left and right. And he's a ginger. And I was amazed. And he said to me, it's not about the physical. The body is an avatar. It's about the belief system. I am manifesting my reality. And in my reality, these women are attracted to me, even though I haven't showered in a month or changed clothing. Amazing experiment. Amazing. So I want you to understand that your expectation is king. The problem is we go through our daily lives allowing the worst case scenario to happen with Schrodinger's cat. Meaning, instead of us having the expectation before we open that box, we're just like, I don't know, the cat could be dead, the cat could be alive, I don't know. If you take that attitude, it's not going to go your way. And that's what you've been doing for most of your life. I have no control. The government's doing this, the white man's doing that, and this and that. But if you go into things with an expectation of how things should work according to your wants and desires, it will align. And I gave you a technique that cements this to make it work 100%. It's called going dark. Meaning that whatever negative thing that you perceive may happen, you do not acknowledge it. You go dark to that. Because in your reality, everything favors you. And when a manifestation comes that appears to be negative and you go dark, you are communicating to the matrix, I don't recognize that. That's not part of reality that I want. Stop manifesting that. And the matrix complies. Can I get deep with you? I was giving this relationship advice. And I was saying a lot of men, when they're having intercourse with women, are not dominant. During intercourse, are not physical, are not rough. And I said, trust me, women like that. And one of the guys that I was counseling said, oh, my mate would never go for that. Well, if you believe that, then she won't. And just as we said that, we were watching a YouTube video with this interview of this adult star. And you know what she said? She said that the men in the industry are not dominant enough. They don't command the women, which she would love. Now, a couple of things happened there. Number one, that was a synchronicity. That was a feedback loop of what I had already said. The other thing was I was communicating to the gentleman that he has to expect his wife to go along with it. If the expectation is not there, it won't work. And then it won't work because he's going to go into it not 100%, kind of 60%. Could you do this? Could you get on your knees? Can I grab your throat? Another one of my mentors said, you can't be half a gangster. You're either in this magical stuff or you're not. You can't be in doing this and doing something else. You got to be 100% committed, which was Bruce Lee in his famous 1-inch punch said, you go through the target. You see, our expectations never go through the target. We're like that punch. We stop short. It has to go through the target. When you are expecting a new reality, you have to be fully committed to it, to the point of where you're relaxed. You see, once I took a step back and I understood that my spirit guides had my back on the situation with the plane. From that point on the trip, I was relaxed. When we missed the second plane, I was like, nah, don't worry about it. The ancestors got us. And we went to the flight attendant there at the check-in and said, oh, you missed your flight, but there's another one in an hour. I'm going to put you on that. No problem. Got lost in Colombia. I ain't worried. I was like, I have no idea where we're at right now. I know we're in the walled city, but we're all lost. No problem. We'll get out. We just chill. Came to the center of town. Stood there, chilled. Taxi said, you guys need a lift. Got in and just got back to the hotel. No problem. We're not panicking because it looked like a very seedy part of town. I mean, we'll be okay. Ain't nothing going to go wrong. And the way I look at it, they're family anyway. Everywhere we went, we were taken care of. Hotel, don't worry about paying for your meal. Yeah, it's a compliment. I want you to go through your life with the expectation of what you want to manifest. And if it doesn't, go dark. And if it still doesn't, then go back and look at your destiny and see if it was meant to be for you, because God may have had a different plan for you. We're too dominated by fear. When you're God man and God woman, why are you afraid? If you learn to relax and be at amen and practice your menab and ankh and ma'at, keeping the heart still to live truth, then what you want can manifest, because it cannot manifest when you're operating out of the animal spirit, which is emotionalism. And they know, the ruling elite know that is Black people's weakness, that we are so emotional. We are so triggered. They know it. And they've actually done that to us to make us emotional and to make us triggered. Everything is about emotion with us. Women having 3 or 4 babies with different men. I'm like, how are you having babies with different men? You must be allowing your emotions to lead you just to hook up with these guys for sexual purposes. And I told guys this years ago. I said, stop talking about girls' booties. She got a fat ass. She got a booty. I'm like, listen, you got to start looking at something besides that. That emotionalism. Had a client the other day. I'm sorry to say this, but be blank. I'm like, listen, the woman you're with is ugly as crap. And she's treating you like crap. He literally said to her, I'd like to marry you. And her family was like, Haitian. We're not going, my family's not going to accept you because you're not Haitian. I'm like, dump this ugly woman. You're suffering from low self-esteem. You don't think you could get better. That's why you want to marry her. You haven't accepted the idea that you're the shit. That you are awesome. You're handsome. You can do a lot better than her. I'm being frank. We're adults here. This is why, you see, Bruce Lee said the key to the matrix and the key to martial arts. Be water, my friend, which is, of course, Pisces. But the idea is you have to know how water works. It can mold a stone over the course of years. That doesn't mean, I'm not saying go with the flow. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying stay on your purpose, focus on your objective, and continue and don't give up. If you work this expectation technique for a month, 2 months, eventually you're going to see awesome results. If you do it for a couple of days, just a week or two, you're not going to see it right away because you have not been trained to think differently. Your left brain doubting mind is going to pop up and say, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get that raise. The bank's not going to approve your loan. You understand what I'm saying? You have to train your mind to think like a magician that, yeah, the things I want will happen. Now, I have taken some big hits in my life, meaning I have worked the magic and it didn't happen. And I go back to my high priest and he says, well, that means that God doesn't want that for you. That's not part of your destiny. I was like, whoa, that's a deep one. And that's a hard pill to swallow. So you got to know, using the oracle, like if I'm doing this expectation stuff and I've been doing it for 6 months and it's not working, well, you're hitting your head against the wall because you've not done your oracle reading to find out if that thing is in your destiny to have. I can do all the expectating I want, that I'm going to screw the shit out of Holly Berry. But if I'm not meant to have her in my destiny, it's not going to happen. You understand? So keep that in mind. While you got a moment, if you can hit the like button and also donate to the channel if this message resonates with you. So start out by practicing this. It's like, before I go to bed, if I'm really thinking about something that I shouldn't and is keeping me up, in order to get rid of that thought, I work on a math equation. And as I focus on a math equation, it distracts me from the negative thing that I was thinking about. And I'm only focused on the math equation to where I fall asleep. The Buddhist monks have done this. So this is about training your brain with an expectation that aligns with what you want. So when that idea of things not working out for you, default back to the expectation of it'll work. It'll work. Everything will be okay. When we were coming back, we didn't have all the paperwork to get through the customs. I wasn't worried about it. I'm like, it'll work itself out. It'll work itself out. Got to customs, and he says, well, you can fill out the paperwork right here. It's only just a couple of things to fill out. And that was it. Versus we would have been all stressed out about not having the paperwork. And I said, just don't worry about it. It'll go our way. We'll get through customs. You understand? But we have been trained to think so low of ourselves. We have been trained to accept oppression and racism. Think the Cartesian way, which is one-to-one correspondence. When if I want change in my world, I have to vote. No, there is a power greater than all of that. And that is the power of you, God, man, God, woman. But that power cannot manifest within you if you do not expect that to happen in your life. I do an oracle reading and it comes up negative. I'm like, that's cool. I expect it still to work out for me. I expect the situation still to work out for me. And it does. But if I'm all freaking out over that negative reading, then it's going to be a hard week. I remember seeing my mate. She was at outside of a club, and a good friend of mine was talking to her and her girlfriend. And the friend I was with, he had noticed her, and he says, "Oh, I love her. I love petite Latinas." And when he said that, I looked at him, and I ran over there to talk to her, and we started talking. I don't, to be honest with you, I am not into Latin women, not at all. But when I saw her, I said, especially petite. But anyway, when I saw her, I said, she'll be mine. She'll be mine. The rest is history. I stole her away from my friend. So while my friend brought her and her girlfriend over to us and we started talking, the next thing you know, they're all talking. And me and Carly are by a slot machine making out. Because you know when something is right and you know when it's going to happen. I usually don't share those personal stories. But I want you guys to understand that what you want is within your grasp if you stop using the traditional means to get there. This is Qesankh Ma Keperu, son of Ma'at and Tahuti. My aunt is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amin Ra.